This is my all-American die filer. I found it over 10 years ago at an auction. It was on the floor. It was rusty and beat up. I didn't even recognize it as a die filer. When the auctioneer came up and said, "I've got a die filer here," I perked up because I've been looking for one. And I kind of bought it sight unseen, brought it home, tore it down, and rebuilt it. And it's been used on countless number of projects and stuff, and I use it in several clock builds that I've done, and a couple of orreries. I did a couple of orreries, and it helped me with the precision work. It's a really nice one. It's American made. It's a Scotch yoke inside of an oil bath, and there's bronze bearings, and you can see that this adjusts. You can adjust the bearings from the outside. Let me put a close-up picture of that so you can see it. Really lets you get your file nice and straight. There's a missing part down here. There's a part that lives down here that helps to get the file straight. I've always used this block, and I can use it like that as well. But yesterday, when I decided I was going to make this, I went online, and I think it was on Lay's UK. I'll put a link to it in the description. I found a guy that has made a drawing of it, and it's easy to make, so I may make one. But I'll put that in the description too, because there's a lot of good information if you happen to have an American die filer or a die filer in general. And you'll see it's got a nice General Electric motor on there. And I polish my table, so my table is highly polished and with wax and everything. I do the same thing on my scroll saw so that I don't damage any of my work when I'm working on it. And the overhead arm has many adjustments. I very seldom find myself adjusting anything, though, except when I'm changing out a file. With all the adjustments, I kind of keep it the way it is. I think there's an arm missing, and let me show you a picture of that arm. It's used mostly for sawing and honing, and those are two operations that I don't use this die filer for. So I've never really thought of getting that arm. And then you'll see down here, this is the neoprene bellows. I think I used an old Model T starter button bellows to replace it, but that keeps the oil in position and keeps everything moving, but it also supplies air to your blower up here. I'm about due for a new end on the end here, but it's kind of handy to have. Over in the corner, let me show you. I'll show you the corner. I'll give you a close-up of that. That's a 110 socket for your light. I don't put my lights on the unit itself because any motion. I don't like it when my lights move. So I try to keep my lights separate from my machinery if I can. Has a nice tilt fixture here with a ground pin, and that holds it in position. You pull the pin out and you can tilt the table. And it does 240 to 540 strokes per minute, which is the best feature of this die filer, is the adjustable speed. Let me give you a look at it. I use it mostly like this. That's the slowest speeding, but you can speed it up. And it gets kind of a little wobbly on my table when you speed it up. It goes even faster. I don't ever go that fast. I'm figuring that that's mostly for when you're honing or when you're sawing. I'd even like it if it went even a little slower than that. But there you go. And I have a series of 10 different files that I use. And these are the files that are made specifically for a power filer. They cut on the downstroke. But I've also used my my belt sander and modified straight files. They have to be straight. You can't have a tapered file in there for different jobs. And on that website that I put in, I'm going to put in the introduction. The guy has a drawing there for making a holder for smaller files, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be on my project list for next week. But now let me turn it over and let me show you the insides of how the speed control works, which is the whole reason for doing this video. I wanted to show a friend of mine. It's a really unique feature of this die filer I kind of like. So let me flip it around. Alright, this is the back side of the die filer. It's a nice cover that covers the belts up here. A rather nice, keeps everything safe. But I've never seen a speed control like this, a manual one. So I'm just kind of going to show you. It's a series of belts. They keep them pretty loose. This slides like that. But as you tighten it up, it increases the speed. So let me turn it on. I'll go over the other end and tighten it up a little bit. And as you tighten up this little arm, you'll see that it increases the speed. And all you're doing is pulling the belts a little tighter. I keep it down about like that. I like it about like that. And also, while we're at the backside, you can see this is the tilt adjustment here. As then to pull the pin out, you pull the ground pin out with that over there, and you can change the adjustment here. But that's my all-American die filer. I really like it. You don't make die filers anymore. I don't know why. Everybody I know that's got one that really uses it a lot. But and I wanted one for years. It took me just a long time to find one. But there you go, an all-American die filer. Thanks for watching.